Well, hello. This is the third time I've tried to record this. So, okay, I think that's alright. So I was saying it's been three times I tried to record this, but for some reason or others, um, my Lavalier clip failed to record. It just turned off on me a few times last time. Then it also ran out of battery once. If it works now, well, if it works now, then I won't have to buy a new one. If not, I need a new computer. And then I'll need a new Lavalier clip. Ah, yes, the joy of the mature world. Everything breaks. Anyhow, today we're reading chapter 9, Mother Yashoda finds Lord Krishna. Once upon a time, seeing that her maidservant was engaged in different household duties, Mother Yashoda personally took charge of churning butter, and while she churned butter, she sang the childhood pastime of Krishna and enjoyed thinking of her son. The end of her sari was tightly wrapped while she churned, and on account of her intense love for her son, milk automatically dripped from her breast, which moved as she labored very hard, churning with two hands. The bangles and bracelet on her hands tinkled as they touched each other, and her earrings and breast shook. There were drops of perspiration on her face, and the flower garland which was on her head scattered here and there. Before this picturesque sight, Lord Krishna appeared as a child. He felt hungry, and to increase his mother's love, he wanted her to stop churning. He indicated that her first business was to let him suck her breast, and then she could churn the butter later. Mother Yashoda took her son on her lap and pushed the nipple of her breast into his mouth, and while Krishna was sucking the milk, she was smiling, enjoying the beauty of her child's face. Suddenly, the milk which was on the stove began to boil over. Just to stop the milk from spilling, Mother Yashoda at once put Krishna aside and went to the stove. Left and unstayed by his mother, Krishna became very angry, and his lips and eyes became red and raged. He pressed his teeth and lips, and taking up a piece of stone, he immediately broke the butter pot. He took butter out of it, and with false tears in his eyes, he began to eat the butter in a secluded place. In the meantime, Mother Yashoda returned to the churning place after setting the overflowing milk pan in order. She saw the broken pot in which the churning yogurt had been kept. Since she could not find her boy, she concluded that the broken pot was his work. She smiled as she thought, the child is very clever. After breaking the pot, he has left this place fearing punishment. After she sought all over, she found her son sitting on a big wooden grinding mortar, which was kept upside down. He was taking butter from a pot which was hanging from the ceiling on a swing, and he was feeding it to the monkeys. She saw Krishna looking this way and that way in fear of her because he was conscious of his naughty behavior. After seeing her son so engaged, she very silently approached him from behind. Krishna, however, saw her coming toward him with a stick in her hand, and he immediately got down from the grinding mortar and began to flee in fear. Mother Yashoda chased after him to all corners, trying to capture the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is never approached even by the meditation of great yogis. In other words, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, who is never caught by the yogis and speculators, was playing just like a child for such a great devotee as Mother Yashoda. Mother Yashoda, however, could not easily catch the fast-running child because of her thin waist and heavy body. Still, she tried to follow him as fast as she could, as fast as possible. Her hair loosened, and the flowers in her hair fell to the ground. was tired. She somehow reached her naughty child and captured him. When he was caught, Krishna was almost to the point of crying. He smeared his hands over his eyes, which were anointed with black eye cosmetic. The child saw his mother's face while she stood over him, and his eyes became restless from fear. Mother Yashoda could understand that Krishna wasn't necessarily afraid, and for his benefit, he wanted to allay his fear. Okay, being the topmost well-wisher of her child, Mother Yashoda thought, if the child is too fearful of me, I don't know what will happen to him. Actually, about that, at the time of this recording, today, time of this recording, I went to a funeral. I know, a creep thought for a story so sweet, but it was the funeral of a young child, just 7-year-old. No, we don't know what he died from. This child, I don't know if it could call him to be very heavily autistic, or, he was not mentally well. His brain didn't grow up with the rest of him. He couldn't speak, he couldn't walk by himself, but his family really, 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 really loved him. 5 days ago, he suddenly passed away. His dad put him to bed, did his prayer over him, and then the next morning when he tried to wake him up, his baby was gone. So I'm telling you this because if somebody ever comes to this part, he ever hears this video, I need to ask you something, and this is for this family who was today managed, because it took 5 days and the casket was closed for obvious reason, because us Vaishnav, we don't embalm the bodies, because usually we just burn them as soon as it happened. But because it was a mysterious death, they had to do the autopsy just to make sure nothing bad happened. But at this point, that's just unnecessary. And for this family, those are Vaishnav. We're not monsters. So it was supposed to be on the day that it happened, but Krishna Hari, that's the name of the boy, he passed away on a Sunday, and apparently on Sunday, that's the day the person does the autopsy, just takes his break, which, I get it, you're cutting bodies all day, you're seeing deaths all day, you need a mental health day, but then it took 5 days because I don't know what happened, but it took 5 days. So after 5 days, a body is not nice to look at. So there was that. But anyway, what they asked during the funeral is that, if you know someone or you see any child who is, I'm sorry, the rest of the YouTube, hypersensitive people of YouTube, but who's mentally retarded, because that's what happened. He had the mind of a baby in the body of a 7-year-old. Very bright and happy child though. Like I saw him a few times, I saw him grow up practically. Always smiling, always happy, sometimes a bit grumpy, but otherwise a ball of sunshine. Well, if you see a child who is having who is retarded mentally, who's having mental illness of any kind, help their family, help them. It can be to offer to watch the kid, or maybe some help financially, because it's not easy to grow like that. Just do what you can, even if it's a complete stranger, because those family, they took birth to a baby that they thought was the most perfect baby in the world. They saw a life being born, they were prepared for an entire life for this child, to see him grow up and thrive, and beautiful child Krishna had, and he had mothers approaching his mother and say, "Hey, I have a daughter." And then the moment he got the diagnosis, and the moment he saw that he wasn't driving, that he wasn't talking when he was supposed to, that he wasn't walking when he was supposed to, that, those types of things, all of what he had planned was gone. It happened to me also. I have autism, high functioning autism. I was looking forward to a very special life, their normal life, and then that didn't work out. So yeah, I'm just reading about Krishna and Mother Yashoda. And I cannot help but to think about this as the fear she has every single morning. Because this was 5,000 years ago in India. 5,000 years ago. And even today, but 5,000 years ago, it's, maybe it was, especially in Vrindavan at this time, it was a harsher place. Krishna had 3 murder attempts happen to him. He was almost poisoned by a witch. He was almost crushed by a cart. He was taken away by Trinavarta and fell down from the sky. Mother Yashoda had every single morning when she woke up her son. She prays to Lord Vishnu, to Lord Nishamadev, that her son be protected. Then she goes into her room and then she sees that, yes, my child is breathing today. Anyway, once again, if you see a family whose child is just not thriving mentally, be kind to them, offer them help, do whatever you can, even if you don't think it's a lot. They will appreciate the gesture. And I'm asking that for the family. Okay, enough with a sad topic that's making me cry, which I cried so much about today, and it was not because I was crying for myself, which is weird. Okay, so Mother Yashoda then threw away her stick in order to punish him. She thought to bind his hand with some ropes. Ah, yes, the Devadar pastime. This is a crowd pleaser, and I just noticed that this is a bit too high. Okay, I think that'll be much better for you guys. Okay, let's do again. She did not know it, but it was actually impossible for her to bind the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Mother Yashoda was thinking that Krishna was her tiny child. She did not know that the child had no limitation. There is no inside or outside of him, nor beginning or end. He is unlimited and all-pervading. Indeed, he is himself the whole cosmic manifestation. Still, Mother Yashoda was thinking of Krishna as her child. Although he is beyond the reach of all senses, she endeavored to bind him to a wooden grinding mortar. But when she tried to bind him, she found that the rope she was using was too short, by 2 inches. She gathered more ropes from the house and added to it, but still she found the same shortage. In this way, she connected all the ropes available at home, and when the final knot was added, she saw that the rope was still 2 inches too short. Mother Yashoda was smiling, but she was astonished. How was it happening? In attempting to bind her son, she became tired. She was perspiring could see a pair of trees before him, which were known as Arjuna trees. Arjuna trees are also known as hawthorn, the great reservoir of pleasure. Lord Krishna thus thought to himself, Mother Yashoda first of all left without feeding me sufficient milk, and therefore I broke the pot of yogurt and distributed a stock of butter in charity to the monkeys. Now she has bound me to the wooden mortar, so I shall do something more mischievous than before. What you're saying on screen is not the original mortar. It is, let's call it, the deity form of this mortar to celebrate this particular pastime. And what we call the month of Kartika, which is October, November, we celebrate this particular pastime in which Mother Yashoda binds Krishna with ropes to a grinding mortar because she did the impossible. She bound God with the rope of her love, and God is completely controlled by her. She has complete control of the supreme controller. Great yogis in Himalayas, Tapaswi and Tapaswini, great aesthetic who lives up in the mountain, who lives at the very top of the Himalayas, breathing on the air and eat, and on air and fog. Those great yogis who meditate for thousands of years, which they're still alive, by the way. If you have the means, just go during one Kumbh Mela to Ganga Sagar and just look at all of those who come out of the water, from the river Ganges. They travel underwater. They are extremely powerful yogis. None of them can do what a simple coward woman managed to do. She got God. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is now okay. After binding her son, Mother Yashoda engaged herself in household affairs. At that time, bound up to the wooden mortar, Krishna could see a pair of trees before him. There is a history, and thus he thought Krishna. So Krishna thanked Mother Yashoda. And thus he thought of pulling down the two very tall Arjuna tree. There is a history behind the pair of Arjuna tree. In their previous lives, the trees were born as human sons of Kuvera, and their names were Nala Kuvera and Manikriva. Fortunately, they came within the vision of the Lord. In their previous lives, they were cursed by a great sage Narada in order to receive the highest benediction of seeing Lord Krishna. And this, my friend, is by definition being very, 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 very blessed.